Greetings. Welcome to another episode of Elevate and Inspire. I'm Dr. Arlen K. Parham, and so I want to be your guide today, your navigator. And so I thank you for just tuning in. And I just want to talk to you about a subject called Lead When It's Loud, Win in Silence. Lead when it's loud and win in the silence. Man, that's something that all of us as leaders and potential leaders desire to do is lead when it's loud. The most experienced leader. Let me tell you this. So I want to tell you about the most or the worst meeting I've ever sat in. And I've been in a lot of bad meetings during my time, my tenure with the military as a pastor, as in management, um, at the prison system. I've been in some bad meetings. Once I had to sit through a 90-minute meeting, and it was a death by PowerPoint. 90 minutes. And at the end of the day, it was no decision, no ideas, just a lot of excuses and complaint. Seemed like a waste of time. But I recall also some top shelf meetings, some meetings that was off the chain and on that next level. These are special. And I remember a special project that we was doing. The team was in some serious situations. They was furiously going to uh, come up with a conclusion. They were split into two camps, and people were thinking of various ideals. Both camps were very loud. Both camps were very certain of their idea that their plan could work. Both of them was for sure, and as they stepped in it, they found out that they were very wrong. And right in the middle of that noise, the most experienced in the room just sat there quietly, just sat there quietly, just listening to all the chitter chatter. See, the loudest person in the room is rarely the most powerful one. This gentleman was just checking it out. He wasn't on his phone. He wasn't under the table like many people pretending to look at notes. He was present, present in the moment, still just listening like a duck on the surface of a pond. Except instead of pondering for furiously underneath, he was just thinking. And I remember thinking to myself, is he okay? Should I offer this gentleman some water? So, but let me drop this on you about your leadership. The loudest person in the room, I'm going to repeat that. The loudest person in the room is rarely the most powerful. We've been conditioned by movies and corporate culture, by the one guy named Brad in every office who talks like he's narrating a documentary about himself, to believe that the authority sounds like volume, but it doesn't. We have to learn how to lead even when it's loud. Volume is easy. I mean, everybody can get loud. Anybody can be loud. Any toddler can be loud. I have 4 children and 10 grandchildren and have empirical evidence. My 4-year-old grandchild once shut down the dinner table. All you could hear was nothing but her lungs. Strong opinion about the color of her cup. She was wrong about the cup color, but yet and still, she said it's blue, but it was actually purple. She insisted, but yet she was wrong. Doesn't that sound familiar? Have you been around people that could be wrong, but yet stand loudly and be persistent, even though they're heading in the wrong direction? And that's what we learn to lead when it's loud. That's about composure under pressure. That's about being the one person who doesn't make the mistake of activity for progress. When everyone else is spinning, you become the axis. That's the goal. Be calm. Take the pause. Because here's what happened in chaos or in crisis. People don't actually need answers immediately. What they need first is to feel someone is steering the ship, not rowing faster in four different directions while the boat is on fire. Your job in those loud moments is not to shout it out with anybody in the midst of chaos. Your job is to interrupt the chaos and calmly, firmly, with that quiet confidence of someone who tends to weather or read the weather before the storm. That sounds like leadership. I hear you. I hear you. That's what you have to be able to inject in the conversation. Let's slow it down for 60 seconds. Be able to take that initiative. A pause. Suddenly, you're the most powerful person in the room, not because you yelled over everyone, but because you were the only one that didn't have to. So remember that. Be calm, cool, and collected. Then that's when you can win in the silence. Now, win in the silence. What does that mean? What are you talking about? This is the harder one to do because many people hate silence. Silence is uncomfortable. Silence in a meeting feels like a social crime. Someone always breaks it, usually with something like this. So they start circling back, which is corporate speak for I have nothing to add, but I'm afraid you'll forget I exist. We fill silence with noise because we've been taught that silence means stagnation. That if you're not talking, you're not contributing. The meeting is a performance, and you are unfortunately on it. But silence is where decisions actually get made. Silence is when the one quiet person in the back finally gets that space to say the thing that changes everything. Silence is when you, the leader, get to observe who's relieved, who's anxious, who's already three steps ahead, who's been playing Candy Crush this entire time, thinking you can't see the reflection in the window. You can always see the reflection in the window. That's what I have to tell Todd every now and then. The Todds in your life. See, name it without drama. So you got to be able to name it without drama. And that's not always easy, but it takes some discipline. Let me go back to the man in the meeting. After about 4 minutes of controlled chaos, he leaned forward just slightly and he said quietly, almost gently, "What are we actually afraid of losing here?" The room stopped, took a pause, because the question cut right through the noise to the thing nobody had named. It was about the strategy. It was about the client. And everyone was scared. Scared of being blamed, scared of falling or failing publicly. He just named it softly without any drama. Can you be that person in the room that changed the direction of the conversation? The conversation completely changed the direction in the next 10 minutes. We found a path forward. The client was salvaged and he never raised his voice. That is what leading through noise looks like. It's not silence as passivity. It's silence as a strategy. It's the pause before the pivot. It's asking the question nobody else thought to ask because they're too busy being loud. So let me close with this. So here's my challenge for you. As I say this with love, the next time everything is loud, the next time the meeting is spiraling, the inbox is on fire, everyone is talking and nobody is listening, don't reach for your voice first. Reach for the stillness. Be the eye of the storm. Ask the slow question. Sit in the silence long enough to actually hear something. Because anyone can be loud. But the leader who knows when not to speak, when to let a pause of the heavy lifting do the work, when to ask the one question that makes the whole room exhale. That's the leader people follow when the things get hard. Not Brad, not the Todds. Nobody is really, nobody is really following the loud mouth. So don't be that Brad. Be that leader who can lead when it's loud. Thank you for stopping by, taking your time out to listening in. So now we need you to go, elevate, and inspire. Thank you for listening up. Tune up, get up, make that move, and arise to your next level. And take somebody up with you. Until next time.